witches. It has been a long time since I've made a video. Sorry about that. This year has been fraught with a lot of things, and a lot of people having medical emergencies around me, loved ones, a lot of death too, and that's life, you know, but sometimes we have to prioritize, and I had to take care of people in real time and be there for them, and be there for my coven as well, which is now kind of up and running for real, which is very fun. Coming to you from the Spiral Tour Temple Room, which is about to be turned into living quarters for my adult daughter for a little while, just a little while. She's going to be living with us. And so you're going to see me back up in my upstairs living room for videos, and also for anybody who comes to circle at my place. So hey, welcome back, and thanks for watching. Today, other than just saying hi and I'm still here and I'm still alive, I wanted to talk a little bit about kind of making the mundane sacred. A lot of people, particularly solitary pagan practitioners, really enjoy doing things like setting Sabbath altars and things like that, decorating their home to reflect the wheel of the year. All of that is great, but sometimes we can use our path as motivation to get things done and to make those things sacred to us. For instance, one of the most difficult tasks for me, both psychologically and physically, is cleaning out my refrigerator. And my refrigerator really needed to be cleaned out. And I try to do it at least, you know, twice a year. Sometimes I've only done it once a year, although I try to clean up a little bit just as I'm cooking and what have you. But as you probably are aware, if you have a large refrigerator like I do, you can sometimes let food go bad and things get spilled, and it's just not great. And now is the time of spring. I hope everybody had a really good Ostara. We had a lovely Ostara. It was over the weekend of PaganaCon here in Plymouth, Minnesota. So we went to PaganaCon, but then my husband and I came back to do a circle here. Then we went to the hotel again. And then I was down for like a week and a half, because doing the circle with invocation and also going to the con did a number on my fibromyalgia. And so I was really struggling and having a hard time moving around. But on the 31st of March was the anniversary of the departure of a dear, dear friend and chosen family member. And I realized on that day that that was the anniversary, and then I realized, oh, that's why I feel like crying, is that sometimes we remember even when we don't remember. I should show you. She's right here on our ancestor altar. Oh, this is my beloved Ryan. Isn't she beautiful? She left us at 40 years old from metastatic breast cancer. And I was honored to sit vigil with her as she died, and I was there for her last breath. Got a few more folks I need to put on the ancestor altar, come to think of it. But so I needed something to distract me, and I decided it was a good time to clean out the refrigerator. And so what I did is I ordered groceries so that I would be motivated time-wise, that I had X amount of time to get the fridge cleaned. And I pulled everything out, threw away bad food, pulled all of the drawers out and the shelves and everything, and washed it all with soap and water and made it all nice and beautiful, and then put my new groceries in the fridge. And it was challenging for me physically because I was coming off of this really bad flare for my fibro. And it was challenging for me mentally because one of the ways in which my generally well-handled complex PTSD manifests is that when I'm psychologically unwell, I tend to restrict my eating. And it's not done, I don't have anorexia. It's not about body image, but I have something called ARFID, which is aversive restrictive food intake disorder. It's actually common with spectrum people, people with autism, people with ADHD. And that is what I am diagnosed with. And so I went to treatment for that. And I shared it with my coven. I don't believe that high priests and high priestesses should look flawless to their people. We're all human. We're all human beings. And the structure of the Wiccan 3 degrees and the practicing of Wicca gives us tools to handle things that are difficult in our lives. And so one of my vows is to be a responsible person, and that means that if I have an issue, I need to deal with the issue. And I need to be transparent about it. And particularly in the case of eating disorder, whatever that is, and eating disorder is always the same thing, by the way. I don't care if you binge, I don't care if you restrict, I don't care if you purge, or what have you, it's all the same monster. A lot of times people have extra shame when their eating disorder manifests as a binge disorder because of our culture and the way we treat people of different sizes, right? So I just want to acknowledge that if anybody who is watching this struggles with eating disorder and you tend to binge, that is not more shameful than those of us who restrict. I actually love food. I'm a very good cook. Food is one of my love languages. Blue Star Wicca, which is my tradition, is very food oriented. Like we know how to feast. Okay, we know how to feast. And yeah, I love food. But at any rate, because of the fact that eating disorders are always trauma-based in some regard, it triggered my trauma. It triggered my PTSD. Every time I would look in the refrigerator, I'd be like, I have to clean that out. But I couldn't get myself to. So I used the memory of my dear friend on the anniversary of her departure from this realm to do something healthy for myself. And keeping your food in a healthy way, in an organized way, and cooking good, healthy meals is an act of self-love. And I think it really goes along with the concept of Ostara and springtime. And the fact that right now we're between Ostara and Beltane, it is a perfect time to reflect on the newness of the year and the fact that we're going to be planting our seeds, our crops. At Ostara, my people bless the seeds that we're going to be planting. And yeah, it's a good time of year to clean. Spring cleaning, right? Spring cleaning. So I cleaned out my fridge and it was exhausting. It caused me not to be able to walk very well the next day. But I did it. And I used the sacred, this time of year, the time that we are in, on the Wiccan Wheel of the Year, and the sacredness of my love for my friend to get something mundane accomplished. But I would like to suggest to you that it isn't just mundane. Doing tasks that honor the love that we have, including love of self, but also love of our neighbors, love of our family, love of our friends, love of our pets, whatever it is, love of a certain pursuit, love of our religion, love of our gods, and for our gods. These things can all be incorporated into the mundane, making the mundane sacred. It's a sad time for me. It's sad because a lot of people around me are having severe health issues. And I recently had a severe health issue. One of the reasons that I wasn't around is that I had to have emergency gallbladder surgery. And I ended up being one of the 11% of people who get gallbladder surgery having difficulty digesting and eating afterwards, of course, right? Because it's not enough to have a restrictive eating disorder. Now I have to, not be able to eat for another reason, right? Yay! So I had to go through that. And on the heels of that, my community lost a beloved young person who was not even 30 yet, which was very sad. The daughter of dear friends of ours. And I have another friend who is looking at dialysis and needing to possibly get a transplant. There's a lot going on, but the structure of my religion, the structure of what I have been taught by the 3 degrees, allows me to frame everything in my life with a sacred perspective. And one of the things that is absolutely useful and brilliant and laudable is taking that sad or scary thing and saying, what can I make of this? What can I make of it? So for instance, I won't identify my friend, but my friend who's looking at the dialysis, she said to me yesterday when I was talking with her, because she was struggling, she was saying, I don't even know if I should try to go on. Maybe I just need to go into hospice. And we had a long talk about what those choices entailed. She said, I'm going to use this experience, I'm going to fight this illness, and then I want to create a curriculum for healthcare providers on using compassion with their patients. It's not to say that there aren't a lot of wonderful healthcare providers out there. There are. Our daughter Michelle is one of those wonderful healthcare providers and has professionally been doing it for over 20 years. Well, about 20 years, I want to say. Around there. And she's very, very good at her work, and her patients love her. But my friend was not treated with compassion, and it was very psychologically damaging to her to basically be just kind of treated like a crazy lady and not be taken seriously when she's describing her symptoms. Also, as many people will attest to, women of a certain size are never taken seriously because it's always you need to lose weight. Even if it has nothing to do with your weight, like nothing. Like you could have an axe stuck in your face and the doctor would be like, well, you need to lose weight. So this is how my friend was treated. And when she was in horrible pain, they literally gave her, at the hospital when she'd gone in, a Xanax, acting like she was having an anxiety attack instead of describing real, true, brutal body pain, like brutal organ pain. And so she's going to throw her passion for that into a pursuit to make the world a better place in a way that she can understand. And she has spent years and years as a caregiver, a very good caregiver, who is highly degreed. She doesn't just have a certificate. So she has helped people face the end of their life. She's taking care of dying people in hospice. She's done all these things. And she's now going to use her misfortune, her pain, her challenge, and her very negative experience at the hand of medical professionals to create something good and compassionate in the world. One would think that of all things, medical care is about as mundane as it could be, right? Because it's all clinical. It's all It's medicine, it's science. But there's a human component to it. And a lot of times this is mishandled. And so for her to create something like that, she's actually thinking of creating a curriculum, getting certified so that people can take it for their CEUs, their continuing education credits, and being able to certify other people to teach the course as well. And I know she can do it. She's a brilliant woman, brilliant. And I'm so pleased that she's going to fight this. Although if I'd had to say goodbye to her, I would have gone to her and sat by her bed while she transitioned, because that is a personal decision. And everybody gets to make that decision for themselves, or they should. So yeah, making the mundane sacred and making it be something that you do in acknowledgement of the wheel of the year. You know, what can you do to make the mundane tasks before you sacred? How can you relate your love of the gods and your practice, your personal practice of devotion to them and to your own walk with spirit? How can you make that sacred? That's the question. Wicca does not have built-in sacred practices like some other religions have. Yes, we have the Sabbats. Yes, we have the Esbats. Those are wonderful. We practice those whenever we can, right? But, like, for instance, on YouTube, I was watching a channel that is run by an Orthodox Jewish lady. And she's wonderful. And she talks all about her religion and how she handles her family with regard to the religion and her job. And she has religious studies that she does every day and is tremendously disciplined. Her path has a lot of built-in sacred stuff. They are required to observe many different sacred times. And that's beautiful. It's actually very beautiful. I have a lot of respect for that religion. I've known several people who were members of that religion. And it's very beautiful. It's very different from what I do. You know, I'm a pagan. We kind of flout the rules. I mean, there are a few rules in Wicca, but even that, not the same thing as the rules that some other religions have, right? So we have to create that for ourselves. We have to do that for ourselves. So thinking about a devotional where you can make the mundane sacred, maybe for each of the moons of the year, for each Sabbath. Take it beyond setting a Sabbath altar. Definitely do that. They're beautiful, aren't they? I love Sabbath altars. I adore them. Very different than setting a Wiccan altar. Like, this is a Wiccan altar setup, a Blue Star setup back here. I just had a class. I just taught a couple of my new seekers. They're both pre-dedicants, so they're learning how to set a Blue Star altar. So I left it up. For us, for our tradition, it's a round altar in the center of the workspace. But a lot of Wiccans have a rectangular altar in the north of the workspace, which is more traditional. So, but yeah, cleaning out the fridge. The most mundane thing in the world, right? The most annoying, just icky. You know, having to scrub spilled food. It's just, ew, nobody wants to do that. But I made it an exercise for my spirit. And I would like to invite all of you, whether or not you're part of the Wiccan path, to think about how you can make the mundane sacred for yourself. And I encourage you to write these things down. We're getting up here to 20 minutes. I don't want to take too much of your time, But I just wanted to say hi. I'm still alive, even though, well, I almost wasn't. Oh, fun fact about me. Okay, just quick. My doctors say I shouldn't actually be alive at all because in the course of doing all this emergency surgery, they found that I have a congenital heart anomaly in which the anterior wall of my left ventricle is paper thin, and it's supposed to be like thick, it's supposed to be like that. It's not. And why I haven't had a cardiac event that blew that out and killed me, nobody knows. Particularly because I used to be a competitive athlete. So now I have yet more medication. Yay, love medication. To be on, and more things to juggle and manage in my life. But yet I've never felt more alive. I guess feeling like I'm lucky that I shouldn't be here, and yet here I am, that is a wonderful feeling. So I definitely want to make everything sacred in my life that I can now, because my life is even more of a gift than I thought it was. Yeah. So I hope you had a blessed Ostara. I hope you have a beautiful Beltane. I'll try to talk to you before then. I'd love to hear your comments. I would love to hear how you make the mundane sacred. All right. May we all be blessed.